This year marks 25 years honoring Martin Luther King here in Metro Detroit. What's the real impact of Dr. King's holiday and just how much has changed in the last quarter century?
Well, joining us now live in our studio is Reverend Carlyle Fielding Stewart III, pastor of Hope United Methodist Church in Southfield, who has really dedicated his entire life to inspiring positive progress, peace, and understanding. Thank you so much for coming in
Thank
tonight.
you for having me.
So how far have we come in 25 years?
Well, we've made a lot of progress in terms of race relations. If you look at the various aspects of American society, for instance, politically, you see that there are more African Americans, women, and other minorities represented in political office. Economically speaking, there are more blacks and other minorities that have moved into the middle class. Culturally, there are a lot of other things that have happened in terms of more blacks moving into higher education. So there are a lot of things that we can celebrate in terms of progress, and that we should not take that for granted.
You saw the study we talked about a couple of minutes ago. 22% of people still feel that the progress has not been enough. Are these the people who have been left out of this progress that you've talked about, or are they other people?
I think it involves the people who have actually been the beneficiaries of the work of Dr. King. Through the various programs of affirmative action and other kinds of programs of which many people of my generation were beneficiaries. And I think that a lot of people feel that the progress is slow in coming. And I think that they understand that Dr. King's vision understood that that progress would not happen overnight. That we would take some steps forward and that we would take some steps backwards. And as an idealist, Dr. King understood that we would take those steps forward, but he also understood as a realist that it takes time. Oftentimes in society we look for the magic solution,
quick fix,
the magic bullet, the quick fix to these solutions, but we didn't get to this place overnight. There's a lot of different reasons why we are what we are, and oftentimes in our search for solutions, we look for that single solution that will be the panacea for everything.
Today on Oprah, she showed some past footage of the Rodney King beating, and then she showed the O.J. Simpson verdict, but then she talked about President Barack Obama being in office today. I mean, that's an amazing step forward. So when we look at those three things and see where we are today, I mean, do you think Dr. King would have ever thought we'd have a black president today?
I think probably he believed that one day we would. The dream is not only evaluating reality, but also anticipating the future. And much of his dream was based upon the potential of America, and that if we could have more equality and more justice and more freedom, then these things could happen. An African-American president and other progress.
I saw a study out of U of M today. I found it rather interesting. The study found that whites do not necessarily perceive multiculturalism as an inclusive ideology the way minorities do. Is that one of the roadblocks? Is that sometimes whites don't feel really like they're on board the diversity train? They're not being included.
Yeah, I think sometimes it's how it's been interpreted and how the discussion has been framed. Oftentimes in race relations and progress in America, the discussion is framed as we are taking something from you, or somebody is taking something from us, rather than understanding that as we build the beloved community, it's give and take. It means that if I have something of value as a citizen of America, then I'm going to share that with the community in order to make the country a better place. And I think that sometimes in the rhetoric of the discussion that we have, it's sometimes framed in a way that it's me versus you or us against them. And maybe some whites don't feel as inclusive in this process because they see it as something that's being taken away from them rather than an opportunity to share something about their culture and their history that helps to make us better. I always say that when we talk about the African American experience, that oftentimes we focus simply on Africa, but we don't focus on America. And so when we talk about that experience, it means bringing the best of those worlds together into a kind of model of understanding and living that makes us all better.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us tonight and giving us your thoughts 25 years later.
No,